everybody? One of Wisdom here. We're back for more Skylanders research with Treadhead. Difficult decision here. I do not have two Treadheads, and I don't want to reset him, so I'm going to only be able to take one path right now. I hope to find him either on sale or like a used promo type thing. There's two schools of thought here. Okay, number one, if you're a fan of the wheelie, you take Drag Racer. If you're a fan of the spin out attack, you would want to take Pavement Peeler. On the flip side, if you feel like the wheelie is stout enough as is, and you would be more interested in upgrading the spin out, you would take Pavement Peeler. If you feel like the spin out is beastly as it is from the box stock, base upgrades I should say, you would want to take Drag Racer to further accent the wheelie. If your playstyle is like, charge in and get out, Drag Racer seems to be the path. If your playstyle is kind of play defensively, you'd be working with your base upgrades and then the added benefits of Pavement Peeler. Now, me personally, if I just had to do this with nothing else factored in, I would honest to gosh take Pavement Peeler. You've got the three upgrades there. You slow enemies down with Eat My Dust. Spray It, Don't Say It. That would just be cool. I don't really care if that does anything, because that would be the traditional, like when I do, I'm in a cart or whatever and I'm on dirt. That's what you take sharp corners, you throw it around so you can kick up, I don't know how many people do that sort of stuff, but that's what I do. And then the thing that most interests me, though, is Fire Spin, and it's the spin out attack goes so fast it sets the ground on fire. They don't advertise the attack damage on the spin out going up, and it's already sitting at a I just made a new spreadsheet down for some other characters, but Kick Up Some Dust, the final base upgrade, jumped at 20 to 119 to 178 with a better radius. There's a very real possibility, the way these strategy guides have been lately, oftentimes there's huge increases and they don't even mention them, they don't fathom that they exist. And if that 119 became something like a 149 or something, this would just be, he would be a juggernaut, just spinning around, taking half the damage and dealing extra damage. And so I honestly think that's the better path, not knowing anything about them personally. I think that would be the way to go. That's kind of like when I would, in SSA days, when there was armor and speed paths, I would just default go to that because it's such an added benefit. But with the strategy guide, they claim that with Drag Racer, when you get the spiked wheelie, that comes in and that makes it one of the most powerful charge attacks. I'm a big fan of charge attacks. This one, I'm hoping it adds some speed somewhere too, so I can kind of get in and get out a little bit quicker. But I'm kind of drawn towards that. Why? When I just told you how great Pavement Peeler would be? Because I think the spin attack is pretty dadgum good just like this. So this is kind of one of those things. I personally think I would benefit the most by upgrading the spin attack. But with this being as good as it already is, I feel like the wheelie would become even more of a benefit because this is far from horrible, just like this, and you can go perpetually. So that is the logic I have in the painstaking decision of only selecting one, which wouldn't it have been nice if Treadhead had a Nitro version, then I could take both paths, and I'd give Nitro version, the Drag Racer path, and then Pavement Peeler would be for standard Treadhead, and the world would have been perfectly aligned, and, but like I said, I think that Pavement Peeler might actually be his better path, and I don't know that many people are going to be taking it, because I think people are going to see this and be like, oh, sweet, cool. And it's probably going to turn out to be a great path, but I think this is one of those ones that's going to go under the radar, be underappreciated, especially with him not returning. If he would have followed up in Superchargers and people were like, okay, well, in Trap Team I took him down Drag Racer, I guess I'll see what Pavement Peeler is, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, this path is way better, type of a thing. So I'm definitely interested in it, man. And that said, I do think it would be better. But, given my time constraints and I just have the one, I think I'll go Drag Racer here. Plus, I think it's probably what more of you would want to see. But I tell you, from my background in Skylanders, I think this one right here would be the way to go. So, nonetheless, we're going to do the opposite of that. Why? I don't know. That's live. Sometimes stuff just makes no sense. So, pointless cutscene aside, let's come in here. And 19 wing sapphires are what we. Plus, this looks really cool. You got to give it that. So, 1054 is the price with our discount. Spiked wheels make wheelie attack do extra damage. Now, it's already doing a pretty dadgum good chunk of damage. We're doing 129, basically all the way up to 289. So, let's take a look at it. Still the 12 seconds, still kind of like the shutdown at the end if you don't manually do it prior. So 12 seconds, we still have the 4 stages, if you will. Seems to be 3 tiers of damage. So we got 167 to 250. And I kind of, okay, let's come in here, spiked wheelie, 12 seconds, and then 167. Half of 167 is what? Why did I not get a calculator? I guess because I was busy. I was making gear shift spreadsheets, what I was doing. So 167, that's going to be 83.5. 167 and 83 is going to be 250. Okay, so does it do the 250 the full time, or do we get an increase from that? Let's try to land some of the later hits. 217. Oh, it's so hard to control those. I think the best thing to do, actually, is just set it up this way quickly. You're in my way. So 250 is going to be the max. So where's that 217 coming? 325, good lord. Okay. So there is a 217 and a 325 as well. I'm just going to pin that in here. Alright, so half of 217 is going to be 108.5, and 108 and 217, since the half doesn't matter in this game, would actually be 325. So 167 to 250, 217 to 325. There seems to only be those 2 tiers, which is kind of nice. It's easier for us. There could be another one that we're just missing. I wonder if 250 is actually going to be the max tier, and there would then be, what, a 375? Maybe that's what it is. Let's take a look. So, tier 2 is 217. Tier 3 is 250. Okay, that's our answer. Alright, so tier 1, 167 to 250. Tier 2, 217 to 325. Tier 3, 250. Half of 250, of course, 125. 250 and 125, 375. You didn't see it, but I trust my numbers. And that's why we do Skylanders research. So, 167 in tier 1. Tier 2 is 217. Tier 3, which we got 2 hits of, is 250. Keep in mind, like I said, where Tier 1 you can just maneuver it like this. By the time you get to that, Tier 3, it's a much wider radius, making it more difficult, at least in tight quarters. Now, if you're just going to come over here, you could probably turn around and come back. You just position it better. But over here in the tight quarters, that's kind of like its weak point, if you will. So, that said, though, it's 12-second runtime, 167 through 75. My personal advice, don't go the full 12 seconds. Maybe right when you see the blue appear, try to get 1 hit or so off and then let go, and you'll spare yourself additional damage by staying in motion. And when you do terminate and you let go, like right there, I can instantly fire off another wheelie. I think it kind of would have been cool if you do that, if they do an instantaneous backfire, even if it's a marginal number. That said, pretty solid numbers there. I'm pretty happy with that. And it's kind of reminiscent of Drill Sergeant and his charge attack. So, we got that going. I didn't mention it, but nostalgia plays a role. Go Out with a Bang is up next. 1364 is our price. Shoot out a massive backfire during the last stage of a wheelie. So, this would be something that could tie in. I don't know what they mean by last stage, if they mean blue flames, if they mean upon termination. You can actually initiate. I meant to do that in the base upgrades, but if you're in the air, you can actually press X, and he'll just charge forward with the back wheel, kind of, and put himself up in the air. Secondary attack, you can backfire in the air. Wow. Okay, let's make sure the backfire, it's still 55, so no increase there at all. But let's try to take a look at this thing. Oh, I'm pressing the Nintendo button. So 2, 3, 4, explosion coming. Oh yeah, that was nice. Alright, so let's see if we can get down there. Oh, we missed it. I didn't think he was going to make it, and then he wound up going too far. So let's see if we can get around here, back down. You know what, actually, let's turn here. We're not going to make it now. Oh, that would have been so sweet if we executed it. Did you see that? That was the 375. Not that, that was 334. But that 375 is our top tier, tier 3 critical hit number. So we have that confirmed now. Go out without a bang, 334. Now I'm going to try to stay close to home here. Oh, and we blew it. Again, this is tough to control. That's why I kind of think pavement peeler. Which, like I said, though, this is the worst case scenario. Here it comes. Did you see that? I think that was the 551, but I couldn't see it because hashtag rails are in my way. 334, of course we wouldn't get the critical again. I can do the math in my head, but I'd like to see the number. Ah, we missed it. Okay, so 334, we know it's there though, and it's pretty frequent compared to some of his stuff. So half of 334. Okay, so it's not going to be 17 because it's a odd set of numbers. So we'd have 160 and 160 is 320. So 167 and 167 would be 334. So 334 and 167. That's going to be 430, 490, 497, 501. That's what I believe we're going to have. So 334 to 501. And like I said, seeing it, you know, twice within like 4 attempts, that's a way better critical ratio than he has with some of his other attacks. There's the 334. Let's check out the radius on it. I'm going to try to time this where we'll be between these guys. Ah, we're like just barely off each and every time. Maybe I can just spin it. Oh.
Next challenge awaits you, Master.
It looks to be a big area, but I'm pretty sure we just got one dummy. It's just, right now the radius gets so ridiculous. It's pretty difficult to control that.
Ready for another match?
But you get the idea, and it is a decent size radius. But once again, I'm kind of thinking pavement peeler, man, might suit me better. That said, burning rubber, this is going to be cool regardless. So it's kind of like the spiked trail chain, if you will. Leave a fire trail during the last stages of wheelie. Now, me personally, I would have liked to have seen this, you know, initiate at stage 2, not that late in the wheelie. But 1860 is the prize. Let's pick it up and see what we get. Alright, here we go. So, let's take a look at it first. There's tier 2, nothing. Tier 3 initiates tier 4, still goes. And does it stay not long? So it does have some residual, but not much. I think the 250 was actually from the tire. Okay, so that's not showing damage, sadly. Which means we gotta go somewhere. It's going to be a really hard thing to showcase because how do I not hit trolls or enemies and get them to then run through it in that short of a span? Because we destroy garden variety enemies, you know, buzzardbeaks and chompies before that happened. It looks cool though, you know, and I'm sure it does damage, I just don't know how much. So I might, to save time, do that off camera and just update it in the spreadsheet for you. But that's it, we got one more thing left. And you're like, wait, I thought you just finished the upgrade path. We did, but there's a soul gem. So the soul gem is called Rocket Boost. Once you hit maximum speed in wheelie mode, which they apparently consider as tier 3, once you see like the red kind of... I mean, I'm trying to think of a way to describe it in layman's terms. It's sort of like the pinkish flames, I guess, you know, kind of more of like a gassy look as opposed to like a traditional flame. Tier 3, what I've been referring to, or stage 3, you know, and then right before the blue flames, basically, the pinkish flames and then the blue flames, I think is when this would apply. Once you hit maximum speed in wheelie mode, press Y to rocket boost off a ramp. I'm assuming they provide the ramp, right? Because there's not many ramps around here, so does that just like serve... Okay, I think I see the clip art now. I think the clip art has like a ramp going straight up into the sky is what that is. And I don't know if there's some huge fire trail that damages things, if there's an explosion when we take off, like a literal rocket, and that damages stuff. If we land and it damages things, if it does no damage, it's kind of like the Yeti cooling factor. It's just like, oh, look what I can do, you know? I don't know. Let's buy it and see. So, here we go. Alright, so that's the spike chain, which it looks really cool from the side profile, spike chain. Let's just check this thing out.
Really?
I pressed Y. So let's take a look here. Once you hit maximum speed in wheelie mode, press attack 3 to rocket boost off a ramp. The rocket boost attack does a lot of damage, but what do you expect when Treadhead flies into the air and comes crashing down? Okay, theory confirmed. This move can be difficult to use since it can only be done at max speed. If you learn to pick up the visual cue when Treadhead's at top speed, this is a devastating attack. Okay, well, I think I understand the visuals. But if I don't hold X down... So that's tier 2, tier 3. Oh, we got it that time. That was a horrible angle because the ramp just basically appeared. You can rewind if you'd like. Oh yeah. Okay, okay. Weird game. Let's try to land this on an actual enemy now. That's gonna be like the biggest trick yet. Actually getting this to work with an enemy. So there's our max. 400, and that was really nice range there. So let's go back up. There's tier 2, tier 3. There's our ramp. Direct hits. Awesome. So that's going to be 400 to 600, and it's cool. So you don't get any extra damage for being cool, but it means something to some people. So 400 to 600, the critical number there, of course, would be 600. And that's just a pretty sweet little deal. So it's not super practical, and it is fairly difficult to execute it. The main thing would be you would almost have to retreat, drive into the enemies, and then time it. You can't do it yet, and you have to do it now. So, yeah, you know, it's neat. You gotta give it that. It's definitely a cool attack. Very different. It's definitely gonna be something you remember. That said, this path pretty solid. I think Spike a Wheelie is the biggest asset by a considerable margin, in my opinion. You don't seem to go out with a bang whenever you execute the Soul Gem. Burning Rubber, I don't know the damage numbers on. I honestly think Pavement Peeler might be the better path. I mentioned it at the start of this video, and now that I've taken this path, I'm still thinking that you may not have the damage numbers that you do with this one, you know, like the 370, 250, 375 type stuff. But the treads weren't that bad. I mean, they were doing 129 to 289, so that's not too far off the mix. And more importantly, though, just improving what's already great. But that said, you know, my logic here, I figured people would want to see this, and this is honestly the better. This to me was a better box stock than the wheelie bars. And like I said, I am kind of a fan of the charged attacks, so it'll be okay. But I do think Pavement Peeler might be one of those paths that people come back to if Treadhead ever gets re-released. They'll say like, wow, this path is like, doesn't suck. It's way better than I thought. It's better than Drag Racer. It was that guy that said this would happen, you know, 3 years ago. But Treadhead 2000, Treadhead Skylanders 8 confirmed. Anyway, I'm kind of torn. I'd sort of like to explore pavement peeler now, but what I'll do, I'll try off camera to go in and set something up somewhere where I can actually get damage numbers on burning rubber. That's where we set the ground on fire. I'll show you one more time. There's 2, there's 3, there's the flames, there's our ramp. Boom. So there is no backfire when he does that, but you still get the burning rubber. So the backfire itself, man, that thing has stayed at 55. That's kind of interesting. Very rarely do you see one stay box stock, but is it addressed on pavement spinner? No. So it's either path you take. If you're a fan of that, yeah, it's going to stay just like you had him when you took him out of the box. So that said, let me know your thoughts here. Did you take Drag Racer? If so, why? Or did you go out on a limb and did you take pavement peeler because you had a feeling that it would be a pretty sweet path? Again, my logic, base upgrade based, the tertiary attack, it's actually better for my opinion and my playstyle than the wheelie, although the wheelie is cool, and that's why I ultimately took that path, because I felt like the tertiary attack could rest on its own merits better than the wheelie. Essentially, I'm saying I thought I would get more of a benefit with Drag Racer for the wheelie than vice versa. I feel like the tertiary attack could be the staple foundation as is, you know. So that said, I do think, and pavement peeler might suck, I haven't taken it, but I think it would fit my playstyle a little bit better. So that said, pretty happy with Drag Racer, so I'll try to get numbers for you there. Again, if you want to see that attack damage number spreadsheet, take the link down below at oneofweezem.com or on the Skylander Club Forum. If you like what you see on the Skylander Club Forum, sign up, we'd love to have you. That said, as always, thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts here on Treadhead and his upgrade pass. What did you take and why? You can follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. Once again, be sure to check out the Skylander Club Forum. I built it for you, so check it out, sign up, use it, enjoy it, have some fun with it. And for myself and Treadhead, we will catch you back here for the next installment of Skylanders Research.